I only had one job when I was 9 years old, and that job I took very seriously. My duty was to hold the mortar ever so tightly. My siblings and I settled around the mortar, dodging the pistol from hitting our tender faces. It was all in the hopes of eating inyo, pounded yam. No other food requires such selflessness and strength. You see, pounded yam is the king of all foods. It serves both the rich and the poor alike. Pounded yam is made with two simple ingredients: yam and water. That's it. It's that simple. The constant pounding turns a rough tuber of yam into a very soft dough. Inyo tells a story like no other. It is as traditional as you can get. It is authentic and unpretentious. It is sweat and vigor. The sound of pounding is music to my ears. I can never forget the sound that rocked me to sleep and awakened my soul. There's just something about food. Food is music. The thumping sound of the mortar heard across several plains in Africa. The sound of hot pounded yam, usually eaten with egusi soup, a staple in my hometown. If you listen very closely, it sounds like the beating of the heart, the synchronized sound from up, down, left, and right. That rhythm awakens those who are hungry to the hope of a new meal. Like my love for pounded yam, that love knows no bounds. Food is love. The first date, sitting across the table from a man you love, feasting on a plate of filet mignon. If you're acting like you don't eat that much, you order a bowl of salad. Whichever way you eat, you create memories. Food is memory. My first meal in America was spaghetti with meatballs from Governor Square Mall in Tallahassee, Florida. I loved it. The second day I was at KFC with my uncle, feasting on fried chicken, mashed potatoes with gravy, and soft, buttery biscuit. I loved the chicken and the biscuit. The mashed potatoes and gravy, not so much. I remember my first pizza, my first burger, my first sushi. My first gyro was with an ex-boyfriend. It was so good. We had it almost every other day. How can I ever forget the taste of pita fries and tzatziki sauce? And then there was the Chinese restaurant my cousin and I will go to every time we worked out. It was like our $5 reward for working out so hard. We made lots of memories and gained a lot of weight over those house special fried rice with fried chicken and dog sauce, with soy sauce, and for me, hot oil. I swear nothing comes close to the taste of Chinese food from that storefront in Tallahassee. I fell in love with food living in Tallahassee, Florida. I became passionate about cooking and learned how to cook, living in that small town. I became enthralled about Southern soul food, taking trips to Fort Valley, Georgia. How can I ever forget the taste of collard greens and blueberry cake? I fell in love with Mexican food living in Houston, Texas. There's just something about tortillas. I grew to appreciate Creole food while living in Louisiana for 1 year. These are my food memories, and every one of us have them, but we rarely think of them or appreciate them. We connect food to people, places, and events that shaped our lives. For many of us, food evokes pleasant memories. We remember places, smells, people, and moments. We associate food with moments that comes with warm feelings and tie us together. Pounded yam is my favorite childhood memory. It connects me to home. Pounded yam is home. Food is home. People gathered around dining tables across the world, sharing a meal, laughter, conversations, and creating memories. Food is Sunday soul food with Big Mama making a pot of mac and cheese. It's Cinco de Mayo and eating tacos. It's Chinese New Year, indulging in traditional Chinese foods. It's ghee during the Hindu festivals. It's pizza and barbecue night at the Andersons. It's also Christmas morning, rice with stew and chicken, every single Christmas when I was growing up. It's Thanksgiving dinners with the ones you love, paring knives ready to carve the turkey. It's enjoying my cousin's chicken tartazini and her burnt cookie every single year. It's my warm coconut pepper soup pho whenever a guest comes to my home. Food is ritualistic. Baking brownies every Saturday with my boys is a ritual for us. Making warm pepper soup is a weekly ritual for me. In some cultures, eating pounded yam during the New Yam Festival is a ritual, and you dare not eat it before the king does. These rituals involve conversations and laughter and the pouring of our souls to each other. We all have certain food rituals. It's just we never get to think of them, do we? There's just something about food. Food connects. There is no better connector than food. It symbolizes how we define ourselves and how we connect with our culture. Pounded yam is a family affair where the man harvests the yam and the women do the pounding. And in some cases, the men do the pounding and the women harvest the yams. Villages and communities share in the joy of cooking and eating. Social gatherings are usually graced with a spread of food. People connect over their mutual love for food. And a chance meeting at Starbucks and realizing you both love macchiato could actually create a ripple effect of a lifetime friendship. But just as food connects us, food also separates us. Food defines class. It defines the haves and haves not. I read about two 5,000-year-old mummies that were found frozen in time. What was fascinating, though, was the scientist was able to tell what class they belonged to based on their diet. One was wealthy and the other wasn't. How incredible is that? Meaning what I eat or not eat solely depends on my income and sometimes my zip code. We see a great disparities in how we eat and what we eat, which in turn determines the length and the quality of our lives. Food is health. We are what we eat after all. We eat food for sustenance, to live long, to live better, and to thrive. Eating the wrong types of food would affect us. Eating the right types of food would help us live longer. And unfortunately, food is death. You eat too much of the wrong meals and your health is threatened. You overeat and undereat, there is trouble. People and nations fight over food security, and the unlucky ones who cannot afford a meal die of starvation, while other nations have their citizens overeating themselves to death. But food is hope. For the poor, a bowl of soup or a plate of rice gives hope. Just like what a Roman noodle is to a college student, it reassures. Yorubas will say, "Tí owó bá sí, kóúnjẹ ṣá ti wà," meaning, even if there's no money, as long as there's food. Poverty is more painful when there's no food. Being broke is more evident when your fridge is empty. Food is beauty. I'm in love with the plating of food. The look of well-plated food pleases my palate. I'm enthralled by the allure of it. The beauty of green vegetables quietly placed next to steamed potatoes, or the beauty of pepperoni on pizza. How about the beauty of sushi, craftily laid out on a plate? The spirit of zobo as it dances in a cup. Or suya, leaning on a stone grill. There's something beautiful about food. Food is celebration. Where I come from, that means Naija party jollof, smoky red rice, without which a Nigerian party is incomplete. There's an ongoing culinary war, actually, about this rice. We pay homage to food as an essential part of every celebration. It's amala with ewedu and gbegiri soup. It's ofe owere. When a guest comes to your home, it's tuwo and mia and kuka. Of course, it's pounded yam and egusi soup. The smell of food summons the herald of celebration. It beckons the dance and the excitement. Finally, food is culture. Food exists as a way of expressing culture. It gives insight into cultural norms and traditions. We also connect different cultures to their food, like fufu being African. When you think sushi, you think Japanese. Taco, Mexico. Pasta, Italian. Baklava, Middle East. Burger and barbecue, America. As an immigrant, my biggest worry when I came to this country was to be able to find food that reminds me of home. It took almost 15 years to finally eat real pounded yam. While immigrants explore new foods, we also want to be connected to our culture. We want to maintain our traditional eating habits. And we often use food as a way of retaining our cultural identity. Food is an expression of our cultural identity. There's more of a connection between food and culture than you may think. As an immigrant, I brought with me memories of food that I grew up with. It helped me not being homesick. It actually helped me not being homesick because I could see it everywhere I go. Like eating soft, juicy mango that actually tastes like I remembered it. Or eating boiled corn that reminds me of Lokoja in Nigeria. Or the very first time I had guava in Texas, and I was transported right back to secondary school in Okene, sitting on the front porch devouring them. That's the power of food. When we share our food cultures with others, our culture is preserved and traditions are passed down. It is important to explore other food, to connect over food, to use food as a tool to give hope, to show love, to create memories, and teach others to be more informed about other cultures and their food. It is also important not to allow food separate us, but to use food as a communicative tool to help us understand the world better. I only have one job at 41 years old, and that job I take very seriously. I plan to have conversations about African food and culture and to give people a peek into what authentic African food is all about, and explore how to connect and fuse foods from different cultures to create a beautiful story that dances on your palate. It is celebrating the cultural diversity of food and to make sure that we produce and cook real foods that are with cultural relevance, that are devoid of harmful chemicals. There's definitely something about food. It's beyond biological sustenance. It's love, it's home, it's memories, it's celebration, it's beauty, it's hope, it's health, and so much more. So, what's your food identity? What is food to you? What memories do you have about food? Like my people would say, come and chop. Thank you.